still here. So today we are taking out the FW-190. This is the A-5, so we're at tier 6. And I don't think we're running into anybody that's trying to go for a Gabreski. Maybe Greyman on our team. We've got a BF-109E on our team, who I keep running into. So I don't know how he knows what friggin' tier I'm going to, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and let's go get this garrison just because it's relatively close here. And we'll move from there. We are top tier, so we can kind of dictate a little bit. IL-1 can probably outmaneuver us, can't it? Especially specialized. So what is the FW-190A5? Normally I would go for the center here now that I'm thinking about it, but I'm not really thinking. I'm trying to talk. The joys of being a... trying to make a video while trying to play a game can be a little bit odd, right? Tends to be why I think I've got better end games than beginning parts to my games. Anyway, back to what I was trying to say. What is this plane? Well, it's a very, very strong plane. I equate the FW-190s to being pocket heavy fighters. What do I mean by that? Well, I guess we got the center anyway. Good thing I didn't go there, because I just would have actually gotten less personal points out of the deal. Let's send everybody else over there. We're going to defend the center. So being a multi-role, it can do a little bit of everything. Being a pocket heavy, I mean that by it's got pretty darn good speed, especially for a multi-role. It has very good guns for a multi-role too. 4 20mm cannons, 2 13mm machine guns. As you can see, yeah, pretty easily tears up enemy planes. Let's see. Is going high going to be the best bet here? Maybe. Let's see if we can't get this guy. Go. Greyman got him, but he was on him first anyway. So, see, my altitude is a little bit better than. Wait a minute. What am I up against here? Better than a lot of the other multi-rolls. We want to take advantage of our altitude performance and our speed. What we don't have, though, and the other part of the pocket heavy, is we don't have maneuverability. And so we need to be mindful of that. We just don't have the maneuverability to do, well, like what I'm doing right now. We got a bow fighter that was attacking us. So we need to be mindful of the way that we're moving. Oh, come on. Seriously? Because those kind of movements can bleed a lot of speed and can cause a lot of issues. Man, we are just bleeding a lot of our speed with these turns, aren't we? Nope, we need to get out of here. This IL-1 is definitely going to be able to outmaneuver us. So let's get our speed on. We've got the speed to get away from the IL-1. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we have pulled away from him, so now we need to... might as well shoot the thing that's in front of us. Done. Let's head on back to the center. We got a Key 102. A BF-109E is not doing a whole hell of a lot of anything. So let's see if we can get this IL-1 knocked out in any way, shape, or form. Yes. IL-1, as you may know, is a ridiculously heavy multi-role fighter. I was trusting my guns were going to get me through that, and luckily they did. My trust was well placed. It's not well placed is me thinking I can outturn anything, especially with a broken wing, but luckily this P-47 is not trying to turn. At least not too much. Come on, cannons. Just talking about how awesome you are, and you're not working with me. There we go. We need to get that sector, I believe. Maybe. So let's start sending everybody this way, including myself. Let's get our boost back. We've got our bombs and our rockets back. So we can definitely go ahead and try to get those utilized properly. Let's move along here. Probably shouldn't have used all my boost. But, c'est la vie. Might be getting air supremacy here if I can get some people knocked out. There we go. There we go. Oh, shoot. P40. Don't really want to turn with a P40, even though I've knocked out his wing. It's still not an ideal situation. But he seems to not realize I'm here. Oh no, I'm gonna stall out. Shoot. What am I doing? My plane is my plane even moving? What the heck? Like, it wouldn't even rotate at all. Okay. This is just ridiculousness. Like, I felt like it wasn't going the mile an hour that it said it was going. So let's go ahead and let's capture this garrison back really quick here. That'll set us up for... We're barely winning, but again, we're barely winning. So we're probably going to be losing the center. We've only got one thing to kill there. It's not the best place for my plane to be. We need ABC, right? Always be capturing. Let's knock out this GA just because he's here. And I've got the firepower to do it. It's not in the sector, which is kind of a shame. Which is more than kind of a shame. It's definitely a shame. Let's drop all 4 bombs here. And we're going to move along. Trying to keep some semblance of airspeed here. On relatively low altitude here, which is kind of frustrating considering my plane is really built for mid-altitude engagements. There we go. Got this sector back. Perfect. And we've set ourselves up for the win. We're, again, barely winning at this point. We might lose the center. Can almost certainly lose the garrison here. I'm actually going to head over to the garrison because we can knock out their ground attackers. Whether or not we lose the garrison or not, we can knock out their GAs and set ourselves up to just stop them from continually pressuring our sectors. So the reason I really like the FW-190s is they're very flexible. As long as you don't push yourself outside their envelope, they can do a little bit of everything. They are excellent attackers and they are good enough defenders. Especially versus things like a ground attacker that can't get away. Your guns are just going to melt them down. There we go. And we've set ourselves up for the win on this one. Let off the guns a little bit. Let them cool off a little bit. Yeah. Wish I could have gotten the kill there. C'est la vie. Let's GG and let's head on back. Alright, so this plane did a little bit of everything in this particular battle, right? We were able to capture 4 sectors, knock out 15 air targets, get a decent amount of capture points. A little bit of everything that was needed to be done. Unfortunately, I got myself into some turn fights that I shouldn't have, and you really want to try to avoid in those situations. I typically start to turn with another plane when I think that my guns will knock it out. You know, the damage output of these cannons is pretty significant at this tier. And so, you know, sometimes I feel like I can, if I just stick with that enemy plane for just long enough, especially if it's a light fighter, I can just knock it out and be done with my life. And that's worth a turn. Unfortunately, it failed me in this particular battle, in that one engagement. We had a Key 102 on our team doing some significant work there as well. And we were definitely working together, if not directly. But, man, Greyman, I haven't seen him in a hot minute, have I? So The FW190 A-5 is just, it's an excellent, it's a good support craft. What I mean by that is, what I like about multi-rolls is that they can do a little bit of everything. And I think the FW190s do that really well. They don't have the best bomb or rocket layout, right? They're not necessarily going to be doing the most ground damage, but they can definitely do enough to help flip sectors. If you've ever been in a fighter or a heavy fighter that killed all the enemy aircraft at a command center, and you realize that there still needs to be some more ground damage done at the command center to actually flip it, you know how frustrating it can be when you don't have a teammate or a bot that wants to actually do ground damage. A fighter and most heavy fighters aren't necessarily excellent at doing ground damage with their guns. And so it's nice to be able to be in a multi-role fighter that you know is going to reload its bombs or rockets, quick enough to be able to do a little bit of damage and help flip those sectors. You saw us do it time and time again on the garrisons and the center missile base here in this particular battle. We were able to drop some bombs and rockets and just add some supplemental damage. And that's how you have to think of most of your multi-rolls that do both air and ground damage, is their support vehicles. This plane, like I said, can be a really good support vehicle in that if you need to take down enemy aircraft, your guns can certainly do that. This plane is not specialized, but as you can see here, you've got a plethora of options, right? We've got the top engine, we've got the 13 millimeter machine guns. You start off with 2 synchronized 20 millimeter cannons right from the get-go. My recommendation, though, is to go ahead and try to get the top 20 millimeter cannons here that are wing mounted. They just do you want that extra range, you want that extra damage, and you get both of them once you get the top cannons on the wings. Yeah, you want to get your bombs, you want to get your rockets, of course, because you want to be able to do some supplemental damage on the ground. But my first focus would be on the cannons. I've set this plane up so far with just my basic setup with accuracy on the guns, which is really the only thing you're going to want on a multi-role or a fighter in the mid-tiers and below, is get a sight. And I've actually put the improved engine injection system on here for the engine. You've got a decent amount of boost speed, 18 seconds. It's impacted negatively by the boost availability of this particular equipment item, but getting that additional acceleration when the boost is activated is pretty darn nice. And considering you get 18 seconds still of boost, means that that the impact to the amount of boost isn't negative enough for me to dissuade me from actually using that. So combining this particular plane's setup, its guns, and focusing on being a heavy fighter type plane rather than a turn type plane is where I have the most success with this particular line. The FW190 A-1, A-5 as you see here, and the Dora at tier 7, which has 30 millimeter cannons as well. That kind of playstyle I have great success with. Turning when you think it's going to be a viable option. Turning when it'll kill an enemy plane or save a friendly plane is typically when I turn with this particular plane, or if I just think that the enemy plane's going to be ignoring me and go in a straight line eventually. Those types of situations are when I try to turn. Otherwise, I try to just use my speed to get away from situations. Use your boom and zoom capabilities to use that zoom, right? You've got a viable boom and zoom type plane. It's not a heavy fighter, but if you play it like a heavy fighter, you can have really good impact on the overall battle. As far as the additional equipment is concerned, once I specialize it, I'm not really sure, to be honest. I would suspect I'm probably going to use polished skin on the airframe, but we'll see. Maybe I will actually add just a touch of maneuverability in here and use a lightweight wing frame. For forward-firing weapons, what I love about this kind of setup is really anything's going to work. Long gun barrels going to add to my overall range of the weapons. Certainly not a bad thing for this particular plane. I think gas-operated action is available at Tier 6 as well. Again, not a bad option for this plane, getting the rate of fire of those guns boosted up. Certainly won't hurt. I don't know if reinforced ball carriers is an option. It would probably be the worst option on this particular plane anyway. The cannons, I mean, yeah, sure, they overheat, but they don't overheat so quickly that I think reinforced ball carriers is a necessity. So gas-operated action or long gun barrels is the way to go as far as I'm concerned. And I'll see which option I go with once I actually get this plane specialized, which, you know, shouldn't be too much longer. Anyway, I really enjoy the FW-190s. I know that they typically are, for a lot of players, tend to just be those planes that get in the way from getting to the BVP-210 that so many people want to get to, the Tier 8 Batwing. And I can understand that. But I also think that the FW-190s can have an incredible impact on a battle and can be incredibly fun as well. And so I would definitely recommend you take a second look at these planes if you haven't already. And if you do enjoy them, what do you enjoy about the FW-190s? I'd love to hear your comments down below, or feel free to hop into my Discord where we can continue the discussion there with the community. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.